Give us an example of a nonviolent practice that one might implement in a personal relationship.
One of the basic ones are a communication tool known as I statements. And in an I statement, I would not speak for you. I would express a feeling I have or a need that I have. And by remembering to reflect on oneself instead of to assume or put on someone else your perception, then people on the receiving end tend to be more open to hearing us and to hear us say difficult things sometimes, because we're talking about how I am affected as opposed to what you're doing to me.
If the people in our society were more able to implement nonviolent behaviors in their personal lives, what might be the beneficial societal effect of that?
Well, certainly in a nonviolent ethic and movement, we want to be able to relate to the people who might be termed the enemy or opposition. And so we need to put ourselves in their shoes and consider what we look like from their perspective. Certainly in Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous anti-Vietnam War speech, his Declaration of Independence from the war in Vietnam, he certainly does that, trying to speak on behalf of the North Vietnamese to the American people so that we might hear how we look in their eyes. And so it's a nonviolent ethic to try to put ourselves in the other's shoes so that we can relate to their experience.
Whether it's on the scale of my wife and I or two nations.
Absolutely, either way. Both are important. Both have massive benefits for society because we have happier homes and communities, and between nations there would be more ease in international affairs.
Please tell us what the mission of the War Resisters League is.
The mission of the War Resisters League, actually we have an affirmation that we affirm that war is a crime against humanity, and we pledge to resist all wars, both civil and international, non-violently. We affirm that all war is a crime against humanity. We therefore are determined not to support any kind of war, international or civil, and to strive non-violently against all the causes of war.
Please tell us one or two projects that the War Resisters League does to encourage the diminishment of causes of war.
The War Resisters League, first of all, we're part of War Resisters International, which is actually a couple years older than the league itself. WRL is the United States chapter of War Resisters International, and collectively we have programs including the Right to Refuse to Kill, which supports conscientious objectors around the world. In this country, conscientious objectors are people in the military who realize that they've had some change of heart, that they can no longer carry out the functions and be in the military. So we support the GI Rights Hotline, which supports people who become conscientious objectors, but also others who are just in conflict with their command or need to better understand the regulations because they have some dependency or hardship issue or a disability that is not being understood or respected by someone in their command. And knowing the regulations helps a soldier deal with that. So the GI Rights Hotline is very important in supporting conscientious objectors. We work against war profiteering and trying to expose the enormous greed and the effect on policy that war profiteering has. A new campaign of the War Resisters League that we just have taken up in response to an international call is a program against tear gas. Now, tear gas is a non-lethal weapon which is being used increasingly with increasing lethality. and is being sold and used in increasing ways, harsh ways, against populations all over the world. So it's an interesting new campaign that WRL has just taken up recently.